guest today is a life quality facilitator. For 26 years, she has been a personal trainer, group exercise instructor, hockey conditioning coach, Special Olympics track coach, spin instructor, massage practitioner, and network marketer. She is also a wonderful mother of two, never busy, but always productive. Welcome to the show, Sondra Deveau Austin. Welcome, Sondra.
Oh, thank you, Andrew. Wow, that's quite the intro.
Yeah, I even had to shorten it. It was so impressive. Very, very cool.
Don't forget about this, and don't forget, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, should I redo it? You're like, redo it. You missed so much.
Just kidding.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, where to begin? First of all, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I'm very excited. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Let's start off. Life Quality Facilitator. You want to describe what that means to you?
I don't really know. No, I'm just kidding. So it's interesting because I remember I was watching, or what you and I were talking about the other day. You were like, find a name for yourself that describes who you are. But people kind of use the word health and wellness instructor or professional or fitness instructor. It's used a lot, right? So when I was working with my personal coach and mentor last year, we actually it took us, oh gosh, probably about a week to figure out what to call me, because there was so many. I have my hand in so many different pots. I do so many different things. I can't really just pinpoint it to one description. So we just kind of put our heads together, and he's like, well, how about a life quality facilitator? Because really what I do is I just help enhance people's lives in whatever way they need to, whether it's wellness, whether it's fitness, whether it was eye care, whether it was massage, whatever. For 26 years, I've been involved in the health and wellness industry. Started off as a fitness instructor, branched off to personal trainer. But you know what? Personal training wasn't really my passion. I don't love personal training, to be honest with you. I did take the course. I became certified, did that for a while, but it just wasn't really in my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse was to capture an audience, like a wide gamut of people. I did group exercise as well. So that's music, it's tempo, it was gathering a bunch of people. It's like a party, it's like you're dancing, but you get to guide people doing that. That's what really stoked my fire. So doing group exercise for 26 years, not personal training for 26 years. However, I still have that education and background behind me. So I was able to incorporate that no matter what you do, right? It's always there. But the group exercise, that's been kind of my deal. That's the shizzle right there. So I've had classes as large as 60 people coming, and one person just guiding a whole bunch of people to do what you tell them is kind of fun. Super fun. And I was just kind of at the point where I was hurting, my shoulder hurt, I was frustrated, and Peter spoke life into me that morning. So he spoke to us directly, and he started to talk about cellular regeneration and what intermittent nutritional fasting can do for that. And so I really started to listen, because this was kind of down what I was really looking for at the time. I was like, okay, well, this could be the answer to my problems. It was kind of my pivotal moment right there.
When you say that, you mean like a 36-hour fast? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, a 48-hour fast. So 2 days of fasting, nutritionally supported fasting.
Okay.
Yeah. So that just really, it was like my moment of like, oh, that's right. That's what it is. And that's what's going to help rejuvenate my cells. And that's what I needed. I needed tissue repair and all of that stuff. So I did. I just started to do my nutritionally supported intermittent fast every week. Monday, Tuesdays were my days. And my shoulder healed in half the time that it did the year before. And I got in the best shape of my life. It's like my fat coat was leaving, but yet my muscle tissue and strength and repair was increasing on that level. So everything was just kind of happening. And to this day, I still do 2 days of intermittent fasting every week, and I haven't stopped. Would you agree that when you go onto social media, like Pinterest, the internet, any type of platform, you see some sort of a diet out there or some sort of a fasting regime? Like there's always something out there. If you just open Pinterest, it's like eat boiled eggs for 2 weeks and you'll lose 20 pounds, or, have a teaspoon of sugar for a month and you'll be down 50 pounds. Like it's ridiculous. It's just garbage, all of this information out there. So it's super confusing, so confusing. About a year and a half ago, it was like I felt stuck. I felt like I was doing all the right things. We think by going to the health food store or by going to the grocery store or by eating healthy, we're doing all the right things that a human is supposed to be doing. But yet, why is it that we just keep gaining weight? We're getting puffier. You just go to any store and you'll see puffy people walking around all the time. We're not getting anywhere. What is the answer? Obviously, it's not a diet. Diets and exercise don't work for that. And so that's where I really kind of just imprinted on Peter and have really just embraced his philosophies. When Peter broke down this Tito syndrome, it was, my coach always used to say, just duct tape your socks on because we're going for a ride. And it was unbelievable, the information that came in that really just triggers so many things for you. And you can't have a health transformation or any kind of a transformation if you just don't know what the problem is. So once we started to attack what the problem was, the solutions are super simple. And then health transformations have been happening all around. And that's the first step. So when people come to me and they're crying, they're frustrated, they're upset, they're just so stuck and sick and tired and caught in this vortex and hamster wheel of just confusion. When they're doing that, we just break down the problem. Like, here's what the problem is. And the solutions are super simple. Going back to the whole intermittent fasting, it's not a real new concept. You've heard of intermittent fasting. Everybody's heard of fasting. You basically don't eat, right? And this is another thing that can be super confusing because there's so many different theories and philosophies around it, right? So basically, what is fasting? You stop eating. And the whole precipice around fasting, and for me, with my philosophies and what I believe and what I've been following with Peter, is that we really want to focus on detoxification. Because this is where, well, why don't I just, let's back up the truck a bit. Why don't we go into TDOS a little bit and why and what this is all about? Because I think this will be a really good breakdown of where this all came from and it will all make sense, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's start off with the acronym. So explain, start from there. Yeah.
Okay. So Peter has actually discovered this syndrome, TDOS, TDOS. And he discovered these 4 things. And what these 4 things are the cofactors that are undermining your quality life potential. So the T stands for toxicity. The D is deficiency, mainly deficiency in nutrition. The O is for obesity. And the S is for stress. Now, let's take the T. So toxicity, it's not a new word. We've heard the word. We can pretty much understand what toxicity is, right? Like it's in the air we breathe, it's in the water we drink, it's what we put on our skin, it's what we do in our hair. It's everywhere. There's no real way that we can get away from pollutants or toxins. We're exposed to it, right? It comes into our environment, it comes into our bubble, and it comes into our personal space. We can't control that. We can try our best by going organic and chemical free and all of that stuff, but it's in everything. Like it's in the rain clouds. So they just did a study a few years ago that they tested rain from all parts of the world, and every single place on this planet, our rain is now holding plastic. And so when that rain comes down, we are ingesting that. So on average, you and I and everybody else on the planet are ingesting the equivalency of 1 credit card a week in plastic. So that's kind of gross, but that just goes to show that it's everywhere and we just can't get away from it. And I'm not this hippie granola, like I wear makeup. I'm not overly fussy about organic makeup, but I know the information. So I think if we can know better, we can do better. And it's just the choices that we make to do it, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I'll eat a whole bag of Doritos. I love freaking Doritos. I'm a health guy. So it's just like, you just our choices, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really interesting, and we'll try to get a sponsorship by Doritos. I'll just like kind of put in a thing there. Uh, but but yeah, I think it's really interesting. I've heard that same thing about plastic. It's very disturbing, and I
Mhm.
think the root of the problem being like we got to address that, but until we can address that, let's okay, it's in us, let's address this, right? And it's the bigger problem still has to be looked at like later, like how do we stop that plastic? But that's a huge question that's going to require an immense amount of work and effort and years to solve. So if we can at least get rid of that plastic, and hopefully you're going to tell us how to get rid of that plastic inside of us,